Alright YouTube, so we're back, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, show you all my fish, and kind of do like a little feeding type update. I haven't done a feeding video in a long time, and don't think I've ever fed all of my fish for you in a single video, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to start here with my Amphilophus trimaculatum, or trimac, or three-spot cichlid. I know him as Odin. He's definitely one of my favorite fish in the fish room right now. You can see that I'm playing with him. I like to play with all of my fish, and he actually, you know, well, sometimes he's going to punk me on camera today, but you can see that he lets me pet him. Definitely one of my favorite fish in my fish room right now, and he's getting like massive, okay? The video really isn't doing this fish any justice. The colors on this fish are just remarkable. And something else I want to share with other people out there that keep trimacs and such is how to sex these fish. You know, there's sometimes there can be a big confusion when sexing these fish, okay? Now generally when you're looking for a female, you're looking for a big black blotch in the dorsal fin, okay? Now, if you're new to cichlid keeping, or new to trimacs, or new to the hobby period, and you're trying to figure out how to sex a trimac, let's use Odin here as an example, because he is a perfect example for what I want to explain. Okay, so you can see up inside his dorsal fin right there how he has a little black mark, okay? Now, typically, whenever, you know, someone's new to trimacs, or, you know, they never read it in a book, and say don't have that much experience with trimacs, and I'm not saying I have a ton of experience with them, but whenever I want to keep a fish, I do study it tremendously, and you know, I take note to little cues. I ask around, I talk to my good buddies, Mike, I talk to him about it. He's experienced with keeping trimacs, which you can see his gorgeous male anytime you want to go over there and check it out on his channel. You can see this guy's pretty rambunctious right now. But anyways, sexing these fish. Okay, now trimacs in general, you know, the status quo of sexing a trimac is that black blotch in the dorsal fin. Now, you can see here, like I said, you can see that little black mark that Odin has inside of his dorsal, okay? Now, a lot of people will, and a lot of people have said that this fish is a female, okay? I'm here to tell you that no, that is not the case. You know, I would love him or her either way, whichever sex it was, but he is in fact a male, okay? And let me explain this to you, okay? Whenever you're keeping fish, or whenever you're reading about fish, it's never a good idea to read a certain, or to read one excerpt on a fish. It's always a great idea to read multiple articles and multiple write-ups and multiple studies about a single fish, okay? It's always good to do that, because you learn things that you wouldn't necessarily get from one article or one write-up or something like that. Now, male trimacs, I'm sorry for the shakiness of the camera, guys. Male trimacs can in fact have a black spot in their dorsal fin, okay? The dog man, my boy Shad, he has a male which has a black spot in the dorsal fin, okay? Now the difference between a blotch and a spot, okay, this what you're looking at right here, let me get him back over here. Let me tempt him. Well, we can go ahead and feed him a little bit. Of course I feed Southern Delight, I feed this guy Power Feed, and I feed him krill as well. We'll watch him eat here. Now, the difference between a blotch and a spot. Now, what you're seeing inside his dorsal fin is a spot, okay? It's a small spot. It's on one of his dorsal rays. Now, when you're talking about a female trimac, you're looking at a blotch, okay? It'll cover multiple dorsal rays. Each one of those little bone-like structures sticking out of the dorsal fin, which makes the whole dorsal fin. It'll cover several of those, okay? It'll be a blotch. It'll be an irregular shaped blotch. Sometimes I guess they can be symmetrical, but, you know, for all intents and purposes, you know, it's an irregular shaped blotch. Now, Can you have a trimac with a little black spot like that that can be a female? Sure, I'm not going to say no. But generally, when you see a female trimac, it has a big black blotch, not just a little spot like that little guy right there that covers one dorsal ray. Now, another reason or another way to sex a fish, if you're unsure, is to vent them. Now, that's a whole nother video in itself, but I'll give you a quick, explanation of how to do that. You want to have 2 nets, okay? You net the fish, and then you put the other net over the net that you netted the fish in. You'll have a 5-gallon bucket of that fish's tank water, prepared somewhere close to the tank. You'll take the fish out, you'll turn it upside down and hold it inside the net, guys. Hold it inside the net, otherwise their dorsal rays are sharp and can poke you, and from first-hand experience, guys, it sucks. Not to mention fish are slippery and you don't want to drop your fish on the floor. So turn it upside down, and you're going to look at the vent. It's called a vent. It's the fish's sexual organ. Now, generally, a vent that comes up to a point, like that, or, it comes up to a point, okay? That's going to be your male. Now, a more blunted vent, that's going to be your female, okay? This fish is vented by Mike and myself and confirmed male, okay? So there's no question about this fish being male or female. It's a male. So, there's several videos out there on YouTube with other people that have trimacs with a black dot on their dorsal that are males, and it's not questioned or anything like that. That's not what this video is about. I'm not going to sit here and argue the point. I'm just, trying to give a little bit more information. So, with that said, that's Odin, my trimac. Hope y'all enjoyed him, because I know I do. Next, we're going to go over to my favorite umbies in the whole world, which are Magnus babies. Came from Mike, Mr. Man 316 here on YouTube. Go check out his channel. Huge shout out to him. That guy, man, definitely has a nice fish room, beautiful fish, and a good friend to boot. So, let's feed these guys for you. They are growing really fast. Feeding them Southern Delight, small cichlid pellets, and veggie krill. They get the small cichlid 2 to 3 times a day, and veggie krill, once or twice a day. So, I have to do every other day water changes on this tank. It is a 10-gallon, and I know, so you don't even have to say anything. So, up with them and down to Mr. Grimm here, my Parachromis Managuensis. I'm having a lot of brain farts today, but this guy, he's getting massive. He eats like a pig. He's definitely really sociable, never runs from me. I can't pet him yet, but he does hand feed. Just a gorgeous example of a jaguar. I couldn't ask for anything more inside this guy's pattern. Definitely a show-stopping specimen for a jaguar. Just a gorgeous fish. So moving right along, I got to turn these lights on here. We're going to go down here and we're going to look at my red-tailed giant gourami. Now with this guy, I feed him the Southern Delight veggie krill exclusively, along with freeze-dried krill. So we'll throw some food in here. And I don't know if he's going to eat, but he should. And he just goes down, he sucks them up, and this fish eats a lot. I mean, eats a ton. Okay, I don't even know where he puts the food, but I also have my Thorixes passionis in there, or passionis, or yellow firemouth. It's somewhere in there behind the sponge, if I'm not mistaken. Don't think he's up top anywhere. Yeah, he's back behind the sponge. I put him inside this tank the other day because the Magnus babies up there were, taking reign of the tank, and, he was getting a little bit shreddy fins and stuff like that. Now, moving over to my 40 breeder, which has my unconfirmed pair of Hoga Boomeroom, which I also got from Mike. You can see the male right there. Just getting big and beautiful and starting to get a little bit of an attitude. Not glass banging per se, but definitely staring down, as you can see here. Definitely a gorgeous fish, and What I think is the female was right back there, but is now back there behind the heater, if you can see her. This guy definitely runs the tank. His name is Warhammer, and he's named as such because he wiped out the entire tank minus 2 umbies, one of which you can see right there, a Feste and the female Hoga. So we'll go ahead and feed this tank. I feed this tank veggie krill as well. You can see him eating there. You can see Warhammer right there just charging me up. What are you doing close to my tank? Gorgeous fish though. They eat a lot too. I feed all of my fish probably 3, 4, maybe even 5 times a day at times. Now over here is my biggest Magnus baby. I don't know if you'll be able to see him good, but I feed him the small cichlid as well, along with freeze-dried krill. And you can see he's just looking just super. I mean, this fish is gorgeous. Of course, I don't have a very good light over this tank, so you know, gotta get what you can get, I guess. So enough with that, and then we'll go up here. Let me turn these lights on. Something I do whenever I'm filming tanks is I'll turn off tanks that are causing a glare behind me, so y'all can see the fish that I'm trying to show. And that's the awesome benefit of using that Sony HD camera, is I could pause and pick up where I left off instead of having to jerk the camera around and stuff like that. Now I did move Micro Machine from that 55 over there, divided my 120, and he now shares the tank with Kronos, my Gorillas Blue. These guys get the power feed as well as krill every day, and they eat like pigs as well. And you can see the gorgeous color on Kronos here. Just a beautiful, beautiful example of a Gorillas Blue umbie. Just a gorgeous, show-stopping fish right there. Look at that nuchal hump. Look how thick that fish is. Now, he's somewhere in the 10, 11, maybe 12 range. I haven't measured him in, quite some time, but, without the deficit of the glass thickness, you can somewhat see how thick he nearly covers up the whole finger here. But let's get a top shot of him eating. Kind of see him there. Powerhouse in the pellets. Gorgeous fish. Another one of my favorite fish in the fish room is this guy right here. He will not eat freeze-dried krill unless I hand feed it to him. And if that's not special, I don't know what is, guys. I mean, this fish is definitely one of my favorite fish in the fish room. He may be rehomed very soon with my buddy Mike, Mr. Man 316. Of course, I'm going to wait till the cold weather's over and see, exactly the direction my life is going before I make that decision. But you can see that he's doing very well, getting very big, and looking glorious. Look at that fish. It's a gorgeous fish. And then over to a lot of people's favorite, which will not eat on camera unless it's a miracle type day, Big Rig, my Dovi. Put some food in there for him, and maybe he'll eat for us, or maybe he won't, like he always does. But a little update on Big Rig here is he will be going inside his 140-gallon home pretty soon. That tank was actually made by the same people that made the tank that he's currently in. It's a DOS tank. The best tanks by far, in my opinion, guys. The best built, best quality, and just overall best tank